Hey, this is Ross Bain with Roleplaying Public Radio. This is RPPR episode 162, 2018 year in review. We're doing a year in review this time because it's been a hell of a year to review.
Hell of a year.
Yeah, it has been approximately 5,000 years. It is the longest year in all of years.
A lot's happened.
All the things.
All the things.
Dear God, all the things.
It is a new era.
Everything happened so much. But yeah, we're talking solely, we're going to be focused solely on the RPPR side of things.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's definitely for the best.
You don't want to hear about the rest.
And there's going to be an extra long episode because we're also not going to get some of our local peeps here. We're also going to get some online peeps. Bridget, Faye, Noah, Birk, Brawa, Birk, all those good people.
We have a lot of peeps.
We do.
We have so many peeps. We've got enough peeps to make a new Easter.
Heyo. So first off, I do want to talk a little bit, though. I have been working on RPPR, the Patreon and the podcast, figuring out, how a new vision for RPPR.
Tell us about it.
It's not actually a real new vision. I'm just trying to revamp things, move things a little around, make it a little better for everybody. Leveling it up, upgrading it. I don't know what you want to call it. First off, RPPR Actual Play is going to go to a weekly posting cycle. Right now, and for its entire thing, it's been this weird 6 episodes a month on one every 5 days on average, which sometimes I'm a little late on that. And so now I'm going to try and make it a weekly regular thing, post at the same time. I'm thinking Thursday mornings, my time.
You're not saying you're frazzled, are you?
No, it's actually because of RPPR Tabletop Tales. Adam Scott Glancy sent me 13 episodes of a Hollow Earth expedition campaign that he ran.
Which is awesome.
It is. And I just scheduled them all at once. So I don't have to touch that until March. I don't have to, you're going to be getting Scott Glancy's lectures on history and shooting dinosaurs and all kinds of fun stuff.
You will learn
until March, basically.
And you will qualify for your master's in history by then.
Well, it's only an undergraduate. I mean, you're going to have to listen. You also have to get the Cthulhu games, too, to get the full,
Oh, yes. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
To get the PhD.
Yeah. Well, we're working on the PhD. So I want to do that with RPPR Actual Play. However, we're still going to be posting 6 episodes a month, but the other 2 are going to be early access on the RPPR Patreon. And so we're changing that in a little bit. So there will still be 6 episodes released a month, plus Tabletop Tales of actual play content for you, but 2 of them are going to be early access. So, but yeah, I think a lot of listeners were giving me feedback that they're so far behind, that they weren't able to listen to new ones because they're still months behind. So I figured, slowing things down a little bit, for you, for most fans is not going to be a problem. And again, if you're a hardcore aficionado, there's still tons of content to listen to. I mean,
if you have already listened to everything that RPPR has put out, don't worry, there will be more.
So yeah, speaking of the Patreon, most of these changes are coming to the Patreon. So we're moving early access episodes to instead of being 1 day early, you get them a week ahead of time. And then there's an early access campaign, which will be posted. We're not even going to post it until after we post a few other campaigns first.
So the only way to hear this campaign is to back the Patreon or wait a year?
Some months. It's kind of like basically we have 2 campaigns that we're going to post at the actual play. Our first one is Rain, Galaxy 2, which Caleb has been running. That's going to start going in January. And it's going to be about 8 episodes or so, depending on where we wrap things up. So 2 episodes a month, that's 4 months. And then after that, we have Unknown Armies, the Treasure Hunt.
Oh, yes.
And that's got about 6 or 7 episodes. So after that, we'll put the early access campaign, which is Scum and Villainy, the Oddballs, which has been really good. And that may go in RPPR Actual Play. That might go in RPPR Tabletop Tales. I'll just see what needs to be filled, schedule wise. So it will go up to one of the podcasts.
The Unknown Armies. I heard you've got some really good players in that one.
Yes,
we got
a trio.
Greg, you've got Caleb, and then you've also got there's me, of course. But then you've got Bill Sundwall.
Yep.
And they're all at their Greg is at his Greggiest, Bill is at his Billiest, and Caleb is amazing. When he's there. He's only there for a little bit of the campaign, but you 3 have been great. It's a really fun campaign.
And and also we're going to be adding. I have actually been working on my own role playing game, architectural horror art game I've talked about on this podcast quite a few times, called Ruin. And I'm going to record and post one actual play test of it every month at the $10 level and above. So
that is $10 well spent.
yeah, so it's a new reward for all you $10 backers. So you can give feedback on it. I'll probably be posting playtest notes and things of that nature. And we're going to be recording a lot more games of it too. I may even be running some on our Discord server.
Get out.
And speaking of our Discord server, we're adding a new feature to it pretty soon. A streaming music. You can actually set up this bot. There's several different bots that will actually stream music through one of the voice channels. And so we're going to do that. And then me, Birk, and some other people are going to curate playlists of vaporwave and other weird music beats.
So how many covers of Toto's Africa can we put into one playlist?
I mean, we could put all of them in there, but we're just going to post the vaporwave ones. So,
but Ross, if you don't post that, then how are we going to know? How are we going to know which Africa version is the best?
Well, I mean, we'll let the listeners decide, but it's going to be focused on vaporwave and other weird music you may not have heard of. So really, this podcast, this new music review podcast, is going to be one. Its purpose is to educate people, because I know so many people out there are like, I'm too busy to listen to new music or to find new music, so I kind of want to help everybody with that. And two, it's also for people whose one of the most seminal, influential albums in their life was the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. And that is truth. Yeah, and that's me. Like and vaporwave and dark ambient, that's that Venn diagram is Silent Hill 2. Because there's some vaporwavy tracks on there, and there's some dark ambient tracks on that. So
and if you're looking for just good background noise, it's good to find just the right things, especially if you can find a good instrumental track.
A lot of vaporwave is instrumental. Also, we're going to be talking about lo-fi hip hop too, which is not quite as dark as that usually, but like there's some overlap. So it's lo-fi hip hop, vaporwave, and dark ambient. So and other weird stuff. So I haven't given it a title. It's probably going to be 24/7 beats to have existential dread to. I don't know, something like that. But we'll be starting that sometime in the next year. Is the plan. Early access, 1 week early access campaign, Ruin playtests for $10 backers, and Ruin campaign notes and stuff like that. And streaming audio. I think we got everything. So yeah, we got just to give you a little preview of what we're working on or what we have in the can already. Caleb is running a campaign of Rain called Dagashi 2, which is based on his campaign book that he is writing for Rain, 2nd edition.
Plug.
Nice.
Well, the Kickstarter is already completed. He is getting paid for it. And it's got an unusual premise to the campaign. Shaun, do you want to explain the basic premise of Dagashi 2?
The quick version,
the quick.
poorly explained, is going to be that essentially, in this case, we were a mercenary group who stumbled upon a portal to another world that was previously run by dark wizards who were doing all kinds of really, really messed up things with magic. And we came by just as they were liberating themselves.
Yeah.
So we got wrapped up into
the slaves were.
Yeah. Sorry, they were doing. We showed up right as the whole overthrow happened, and we got embroiled in their politics and are essentially not much of a spoiler to say. We made decisions that are probably going to burn us in the outside world.
We definitely have already done that.
Things happen.
Yeah. So
also the difference in the way that time passes inside and outside,
right,
is a plot point.
So
we are basically role playing as the tech tree of a civilization game.
Right. So we show up. We show up and we like introduce more elements into this. Disappear for a couple hundred years. Come back. Yeah. For us, it's been a very trying few months so far. Yeah. And it's been like what 1,000 some odd years over there.
Something like that. Yeah.
So it's been rapidly advancing.
Some obscene number.
Our meager footprints are making waves.
Yeah. So Caleb is testing new.
So you are
mechanics
not
for-
following the Prime Directive.
Nope.
No.
I mean, we're basically medieval mercenaries, so we don't like that would be an alien concept. So, anyways, I've commissioned original art for that from Patsy McDowell, who does RPPR Illustrated. He's doing a bang up job of it so far, and so that's going to be starting in January. And you should look forward to that. And then after that, we're going to be doing Unknown Armies, The Treasure Hunt.
The Treasure Hunt.
And David, you want to explain quickly what the premise of that campaign is?
Well, the long story short of it is that we found evidence of a ancient pirate treasure that is hidden somewhere, and as we get all of the elements that we need to find it, basically the map, the thing that we use to find which map is the proper map,
The Divining Rod, yeah.
the divining rod.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to give too many spoilers. We basically get to screw up a lot of things by using magic. Mistakes were
It's
made.
Unknown Armies, yeah.
And some of the things that come out of it are just really beautiful moments. Like I'm playing a Vestamancer, which I know, big surprise. Greg is playing a Dipsomancer. And between Greg getting drunk and using his powers, between me putting on a new outfit and using my powers, and between Bill using his powers of podcasting magic.
Yep. It's called phonomancy. It's recording voices.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We've managed to do a lot of really weird things, but I especially love the fact that we've managed to throw Ross off because he's like, wait a minute, you can do that? Oh, okay. Wow. You guys got intel. Good luck with that.
Yep. It's been fun. And so we'll be posting that after Rain, Dagashi 2, and then of course our third campaign, the one that you'll be getting as early access if you're a patron, is Scum and Villainy, The Oddballs. Tom, do you want to explain a little bit about that?
We are completely legitimate space goers in our own ship, going about
Start
doing,
answer. Okay.
doing totally not illegal things.
We're transport specialists, Tom.
Yes, we are transport. We specialize in the transport of goods and services.
Yep.
And so what you're telling me is that you are not, in fact, scum, and you're not doing any villainy whatsoever.
No, we didn't do anything. That was all laser chainsaw.
All laser chainsaw.
It's all on laser chainsaw.
By the way, I'm totally playing. I totally play a character outside my my comfort zone.
All right. No one's going to believe that.
I know. Hey, I thought I should try something different, and so I thought I'd go with a big soldier alien. Hey,
With scales?
yes. How did you know? I need to try harder on my break my mold.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Six pack.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
he has a name, but okay, it's not quite a spoiler, but we all got to choose. Like, we all have nicknames, but we didn't get to choose our own nicknames.
Yeah.
The group did,
I think it's wonderful.
and I think that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's been a lot of fun. The Scum and Villain mechanics have been really cool, and so it's something else to look forward to. So yeah, that'll show up on RPPR Actual Play or Tabletop Tales, depending on what hole in the production schedule needs to be filled first. So we've got a lot of cool stuff. We also have a lot of one shots. I've already recorded my run of my Delta Green Shotgun Scenario contest. Don't spoil the title or anything. But that'll be coming out in January after the voting has ended.
And I still think that one played extremely well.
Yeah. You guys
It was a surprising twist.
yeah.
Very surprising. Never saw that one coming.
And we have a lot of other cool, and Bridget has a Delta Green scenario that she's run online that she's going to be posting that I'll be posting our game of it after she posts her write up of it. So yeah, there's a lot of, and we're also going to be running Wrath and Glory Eclipse Phase 2nd Edition now that at least the rules are out. We also have done a game of Forbidden Lands, which will probably coming out this month actually, because I liked it. And so yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff coming out, and more
I do have
podcasts.
plans for at least one more round of Goblin.
We need to do another one of that. We also you're currently running more Red Markets for Tabletop Tales.
Grim Fandango is already 4 episodes in. My players are loving and hating it at the same time, which means that
You're doing something right.
And when I touch the dice, bad things happen. either to me or to the players. So I know I'm definitely doing my job.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's always been fun. So, yeah, that's to give you some idea of what we're doing with RPPR. We're just trying to make it better, revamp the schedule a little bit. So yeah, and we're just, posting a lot of cool stuff. So, thanks for listening. But, anyways, we should actually get to the topic of the episode, 2018 year in review. So yeah, 2018 has been a year, and it has a lot of stuff.
It has.
We've this overall, I would say RPPR. This has been the year of like sci-fi for us, more than anything else.
Hell yeah.
We've done, of course, Ashen Stars. Base Raiders is very sci-fi. I mean, it's the superhero genre, but there's a lot of sci-fi elements in it.
There is.
But I mean, that's not the only thing. We did do some indie games. We did, like, for example, Damn the Man Save the Music.
I missed being in that one. I'm sorry about
that. Was a fun one.
It was wonderful. Double hot Fago.
Remember X, I think you guys did.
Yeah, we did a game of Remember X. We did another game of Blue Planet, Natural Law. We also tried out Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition. And that's probably, I guess, where I want to start, because that's sort of the biggest game system we tried out this year in terms of like, it's out there. So what have you all thought of Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition?
Well, I think that it plays a little bit better than the previous. I love that it gives options other than success fail. If you have a high enough number in a skill, you can get some basic information. Like if you've got a 45% in accounting, without actually rolling the accounting, you can still get some information, but then you roll to get more. And I think that that's a nice mechanic. I think that it changes it from the pass fail to, we need somebody to succeed this roll to get the important clue. You all failed? Oh, well, just go in blind. Nothing bad will happen.
Yeah. Shaun?
There's a bit more control, which is always great. The one scenario I was in, I'll just say, apparently I joined a club.
What was the name of that scenario again? I know that's a Hollywood one. What was the name for it?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I mean, I'm looking at a list of them right now, so I'll find it in a second.
But no, I joined the I died twice in a game club. So
that
is a thing.
Oh, dear, is the space between, by the way.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. But.
Tom, your thoughts on Seventh Dead? The French Revolution one?
Yeah, that one. Sorry, I was thinking of the other one we did.
The space between the Hollywood.
Yes, but I remember that one, and yes, I involved one of my favorite things in Lovecraft.
Yeah,
and that one I loved, and I'll just say, boy, Aaron just dove head first.
Okay, so any thoughts on the system difference between Sixth Ed?
It's obviously just greatly much more reminds me of the new Delta Green.
It's a little different, though.
A little different, but it's definitely. I think it is an improvement.
Okay. Over 6th edition, yeah.
Over 6th edition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to take me some time to get used to it because
Sure.
I've used 6th edition for so long.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I've been running so much more Delta Green than 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. I don't know if I mean, if I get more publishing errors, I'll definitely, that are already written in 7th Ed, I'll stick with that rather than translate it a little bit. But I don't know. That's something I'm still uncertain about. But yeah, other games we read one shot of Threadbare. Which was fun.
Yes.
We also did Tales from the Loop. That was our other sci-fi
that
campaign.
was great.
Yeah. So, yeah. What any particular memory, Shaun?
Well, there's the obvious tormenting Tom with Africa,
Toto's Africa. Yep.
which was weird.
I had to role play that because in actual I love that song, but the character I was playing was like, shut up, it's not true.
Yeah.
Watching Aaron try to make friends with evil robots was funny.
Yeah.
Well, they're robots, so that means that they're inherently good in Aaron's eyes. Always.
At least the one that talks to him and is not.
A vacuum cleaner tried to kill me.
So yeah,
You obviously did something to trigger that vacuum cleaner, Shaun.
it just did want to kill. I mean, take over all humans.
I try. Destroy. Oh crap. But no, it was kind of fun, sort of playing a different dynamic with a lot of the group. Mm-hmm. Again, playing slightly younger characters was interesting, and yeah, all the horrible angst that goes with that.
Yeah.
The fact that it was in Boulder, it was in Boulder City, and I've actually been there, so I kind of knew what the hell places were.
I mean, it's an alternate Boulder City,
But I know the area of Lake Mead. And
okay. So yeah, I guess we can just go around and like what you guys just biggest impressions from 2018 year in gaming, at least tabletop gaming. So David,
I've gotten a chance to play with a lot of great people this year. One of the things that, if you don't mind me blatantly plugging for another group, I got to join in on the 10K Lakes campaign of Red
Oh, no,
Markets.
please go ahead. Yeah.
And they handed me a pre-gen character at Gen Con and asked if I would be willing to be a member of a sub-faction in the game, which I had never done before. And so I think that it led to comedy gold because they handed me Longshot and they said, would you be willing to be a member of the Canadian terrorist organization? I went, oh, cheese and crackers. This is going to be so much fun. Oh, hockey sticks. What can I do here? And so I apologized before I started the session for the accent I was going to inflict. And I was informed afterwards that that is the most Canadian thing I could have possibly done. And Longshot has showed up a couple of times within 10K Lakes. And so far, my phenomenal luck has run its course as usual. But the episodes with Longshot are a hell of a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And I've been listening to a lot of the old 10K Lakes and the episodes that I wasn't in. Mm-hmm. And it's another source of red markets because I got to have my fix. I got to get my feel-good juice.
You're hooked.
And also, speaking of red markets from 2018, the Grapevine campaign was one of the finest campaigns I've ever had a chance to play in. And we did wrap it this year. So I'm going to keep plugging that every chance I get. Listen to Grapevine if you haven't listened already.
Yeah,
it's on RPPR Tabletop Tales. Give it a shot.
I think one of the funny things about that group is they went into Grapevine blind, thinking, "Oh, we can be heroic D&D kind of characters," and it did not end well.
That's those are usually either the best or the worst campaigns. There's no middle ground with those kind of groups,
right? So I was the one veteran, and I'm like, "We're not doing this. We're doing that.
Yeah,
no, we're stealing everything."
I mean, that's drama, though. Like,
yeah,
that's conflict. Yeah.
We were doing that, and now that we're doing the second campaign of Grim Fandango, this entire group is trying to be the seasoned veterans, and I just step back and go, cool, I'm going to be a goofy fucker. You get to make all the decisions.
Yeah, I like that.
It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a sink or swim thing when you have players who, like, have to totally shift their conceptions of what a game should be like. I mean,
when somebody shouts run and their instinct is to run towards the danger, and I'm like, you stupid. No.
That is fun.
It was great.
Well, and just a case in point, too. I found out when I was playing in the one session, I'm not going to name drop it yet, but I found out that I was the only player in the group that had ever run into vectors before, and I was the only one who knew the proper strategy to deal with them, which is called shot head. If you don't hit it in the head in the first shot, run. Put as much gone between you and it as you can.
Actually, mag dumping a weapon, if you have full auto on it, can also work too.
Also, yes.
Yeah. So it's either destroy the head or destroy the rest of it. Like it's one or the other.
In a pinch, blow the legs off.
Well, that's if you're making a call shot, you might as well go for the head. Like
every time. If you're shotting and you say anything other than "I'm gonna shoot the face," "I'm gonna shoot the head," you're doing it wrong.
If you're buzzsawing it with a machine gun.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just going for damage. That's the full auto route.
But it was kind of great seeing a group kind of slowly learn the hard way how shit goes down.
Yeah.
So,
Tom, what 2018? Any highlights for you?
I gotta say, I was thinking back. I think my favorite character was Kurzik.
Yeah,
from Base Raiders Gate 9.
Oh yeah. We definitely need to talk about Gate 9.
Just the honestly, I know it. The first time it happened, it was annoying, but by the third, I got the joke was great. Like, come on, like, so you have to say it. Like,
say it. Come on, say it.
Battletoad.
Yes.
I know. It's like, why are you painting me? Is this even a thing?
Yeah.
I must draw you.
You're a bio buddy, and you can only say Battletoad.
like. This would never work. This would never work as a product.
Narrator, but it totally did.
Yeah.
So I guess we should talk about Gate 9. Gate 9, it's I love it. It's a hot mess at times. The plot it kind of makes sense. It's kind of, for me, the other superhero campaign I ran, which was the inspiration for Base Raiders, the Heroes of New Arcadia. I love that campaign, but that campaign fell apart towards the end. Because I didn't know where I was wanting to go with that. And so I designed Gate. My only goal with Gate 9 was to have a good ending. And I think I did do that.
I think you did.
It was kind of funny that, like, season 1, we were all kind of trying to push in different directions.
Yeah.
And then season 2, we all kind of, those of us that were like still consistent were definitely all on the same page.
Yeah.
And that was really kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I got to ride Metal Falcor.
That was, yeah.
No, we all got to ride Metal.
Yeah,
Falcor.
it got extremely weird. I mean, I guess it would start weird. I mean, it's Space Raiders, so.
And my God, in Hawaii, we actually didn't kill anyone.
Nobody died.
That we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That's a sad
In fact, I think at the end of that session, we're like, oh my God.
that is
I don't think anyone died.
that is a sad accomplishment.
Well, and I do have to.
We were high-fiving.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to also say, if we can jump back a little, you touched on Threadbare very briefly.
Yeah.
That game needs a lot more love. That was an amazing, amazing run.
It's a fun game. I really like the fact that it de-emphasizes fighting as a way to resolve conflicts. Like the way you do things in Threadbare is you scavenge for parts and you make your body into new tools or new upgrades to solve problems. And that's that. Like you don't even like it's not even a fighting move. It's just have a conflict with another toy move, which can be a dance off, or it could be
Yes, we literally had a dance off in that. And I was a log
yeah.
and still managed to win the dance off.
Yeah, it's a really interesting Powered by the Apocalypse game, and I really do want to go back to it. At some point, we do need to have a discussion about Powered by the Apocalypse moves, because I've seen some online discussions talking about which are the best and which are the worst Powered by the Apocalypse games. At some point, we need to talk about bad Powered by the Apocalypse games. We haven't really played any, but I've heard certain names come up more frequently than others in that discussion. So I don't want to name drop anything until I actually test those games out myself. But that's
probably the
that's
safe
sort of an
move.
aside. That's more of a 2019 thing. So, but yeah, Threadbare is a really cool game, and that was a lot of fun. So if you didn't listen to that one shot, you should definitely look it up. It's on our site. But yeah, I'm just like Gate 9. Yeah, the plot was messy. You may not have followed everything, but at least it had it connected with the beginning of the game. It formed a closed loop. Everything, it all worked out in the end, and so I'm just happy that I actually had a ending that worked for it. So
2 words: nope dimension.
and the nope dimension, which is I feel like it would be very common in superhero settings.
Yeah,
especially when you get it. Yeah, whenever you get access to multi-universal travel, eventually there's going to be a nope dimension, because you're just like, get rid of this, but where? This one. This dimension is pretty shitty already. Let's look. How can we make it worse?
it just seems like a top tier challenge for some other group.
And the way it ended encouraged it can come back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not done with Base Raiders. At some point, I do want to make a second edition of the game. I definitely need to make better superhero power creation rules, and there's a lot of content I want to write for it. I still want to write law elementals.
Jesus.
I still want to. I want to write up Cool Rat. Actually, I have an idea for a Base Raiders novel. So there's a lot I want to do with Base Raiders. I'm just trying to get some. I've been sort of trying to get my freelance work writing done, and then get Ruin. Because Ruin has been the thing that's going to be my magnum opus.
What are you saying? You're saying you're overextended a little bit?
I wouldn't say overextended, just busy. I mean, it's just, and now I'm just prioritizing my priorities.
Wait a minute. When you say that Ruin is going to be your magnum opus,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Does that mean that Base Raiders was your minimum opus?
It was.
I mean, it is an opus.
Well,
It is an opus. Yeah.
If you go by the guild system, you could call it a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's the Arrival. So
Yeah, thank you, Shaun, for that backup. So yeah, it's just I need to find a good Creative Commons and OGL superpower system, really, or come up with one on my own. So and I need to finish Ruin's game mechanics and system and everything else for Ruin. Yeah, so that's going to be a while. But it's I want to do it. So, any other thoughts on 2018 in terms of games, podcasts?
Well, I mean, a big thing was we had like 3 games in development towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
There was Ruin, obviously, with the playtest went great. We're doing Rain, and also I'm still running along with Derail.
Yeah, I definitely want to post some Derail games.
Man.
Oh, dear Lord, yes.
Derail is
I think
really fun.
did we record a couple of those for the Grapevine crew, I think?
I think we did.
It was early versions of the rules, but I mean, I've been revising a lot, and I'm ready to do another round of playtests of a game of just being utterly and completely spiteful towards subgenre. So
What, you? No.
Oh, I think that we did the one that was totally not a ripoff, The Adventure of... And,
plug.
Oh, yes.
Not,
Plug.
Yeah, plug. It symbolizes the connection between the player and the main character. Anyhow,
Oh, yes. And then there was the one where we did the zombies thing.
oh god, that where you found General Guam.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got a number of scenarios ready to go for that. It's just an issue of timing. But
And I'm working on my own thing too.
Yep. We're gonna be recording a playtest of that after we record this or finish recording this. So yeah, it's yeah, we have a lot of stuff.
there's a
in the
lot
works.
in development. So.
Yeah.
There really is. And I think I speak for all of us when I say I'm excited to be a part of it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts? If not, we'll go
2018 sucked a little less.
on. Well, I mean, RPPR, it was great.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a wonderful year for us.
We'll leave all that other stuff for other podcasts.
We had some
to binge.
fantastic one-shots,
Yeah.
mini campaigns.
I do want to mention again, just a huge thank you to all you listeners out there. Thank you for listening to us, commenting on the site, tweeting at us, of course, obviously supporting us on Patreon.
You sustain us.
You do sustain me in a very real way, and so thank you so much. But anyways, when we come back, we'll have Bridget and the online crew talking about 2018.
And if I can,
Oh,
one
yeah,
last
sure.
thing. Not only thank you for commenting, thank you for messaging, thank you for telling us in any way you want. If you see us at a convention, consider this my blanket permission to come up and give me a hug. I am perfectly fine with that. Please think of us as approachable. Please come up to us and tell us what you love and what you hate. We will take your feedback if you deliver it to us in person or online. We'll take it any way we can get it.
And next year, Gen Con will actually have T-shirts and pens, so you can actually identify us, like the one I'm wearing right now. As you can all,
It is majestic.
Thank you.
You should really see the shirt.
It is like Ross's plumage.
All right. Now we'll go on. Leave it on that note. Hey, and we're back with our second segment for the RPPR 2018 year in review. And with me is Bridget and Birk.
Hey.
Hello.
Bridget, of course, being our most innovative GM.
Award-winning author and industry-leading game designer.
Yep. And Birk is Birk's a cool guy. There we go.
That's right.
Yep. And so let's talk about 2018 because as we were talking in our pre-chat show, this was sort of this year was for both of you sort of getting back into tabletop gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. After a long hiatus.
Yeah, I used to play like Dungeons and Dragons in I want to say middle school, high school. Back in the dark days of third edition, not to date myself. But then Pathfinder came out and I just remember hating the hobby forever and quitting.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I had a high school group that kind of went from second ed to 3.5, kind of early 2000s, and then just had to take a break because kind of everyone went their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, that's really common for a lot of gamers. There's always that sort of, oh, my entire life is changing now because I'm leaving high school and be trying to become a functioning adult.
Was it changing?
So now it's time. No more time for elf games. And but now this year you both had time to sort of dive back into elf games. So Birk, what is 2018 in tabletop gaming? What have been some of the highlights for you?
just sort of playing again first and foremost. It sort of started with we finally got a group together kind of the last year of grad school. It was D&D, but it was fun. Good group of people. And getting involved with the RPPR community and leading into actually playing patron games and then playing with people. So big things were realizing that I like to transition away from kind of the murder hobo D&D hack and slash approach that we used to play. So I've really enjoyed stretching out into games like, As Blossoms Fall, which is a very story and character driven game. So that was really rewarding to play in, and just in general expanding out into other forms of rules and how to play games and how to think about them and engaging with communities.
Yeah. As Blossom Falls was certainly a highlight for me for 2018. Is a really interesting, really, really cool system and scenario all wrapped up into one. And everybody's really on their A game for role playing.
Yeah, it's the best game, or one of the best games I've ever GM'd, where like I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's I am like thinking it's also for me sort of an inspiration for like I really wanted to try and get some of that for Ruin. I have different goals with Ruin than but like I love that being able to sit back and let the players really get into their characters and have some really dramatic moments. So yeah.
Yeah, I really loved how everybody like cozied up and like became friends with their characters, and like in like Act 2, like you almost think that everybody is just like going to resolve their differences and it's going to be fine because the social pressure's not there. And then Act 3 starts and it's like, oh, I want to burn a man alive.
Hey, I had to protect my clan.
I want to push him off the mountain.
Yeah. But I mean, even before that though, like a person had already been poisoned. So,
that's true. Yeah.
It was going bad anyway. And I know I mentioned As Blossoms Fall a lot, partially because I haven't played in many games that have been released this year. So it's one I know people can go listen to. But it really was the first time in probably 10 or 15 years where I just got to really be creative and just play a character and not just have to hit things and like optimize for combat and stuff. And it was really refreshing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really the way it's designed, that every character is designed to have these sort of interlocking conflicts with, that it's very easy to read your character write up and like you're just given so many prompts to escalate things and like and it's really easy to get into character with it, just the way it's the way the game approaches it. I would definitely recommend if you haven't listened to it already, definitely check it out. And it's a game that can be it's running 2.5 hours altogether is supposed to?
At most.
I think Luke says in the thing like something like this is supposed to be like a 3-hour game. Like if people start to drag, you want to kind of push them along.
Yeah. But I mean, that wasn't the only highlight, at least for me. And certainly, Bridget, your Dagashi was certainly another huge highlight for this year because that was a really fun game.
Unironically, Dagashi was life-changing.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, like I don't even want to say that. Like, we started a lot of like really important relationships when I started doing the Dagashi campaign. And then like people have responded to it really, really well. And then people like other like big names in like the industry like listen to Dagashi like for something to do. And then like I caught a bunch of people talking to me at Gen Con, and like Dagashi was supposed to be like really silly like magical girls game where I was like, hey, but what if we made Madoka but it was like gayer? And it just it went in so many directions for me. Like,
yeah, that's interesting. So I wasn't in Dagashi, but I do think that raises an interesting point of like role-playing games as a community and like getting to know people by playing games with them in a way that I don't think you really get from like D&D and stuff.
Yeah.
So as a relationship building tool.
Yeah. No, that's certainly a good point. I think Bridget really gets the core of the magical girl genre in a way, obviously, that, I didn't when I tried to run it.
Thank you.
And that really shows. And it was your talent as a GM that got me to like be able to play an interesting character and still become part of the magical girl setting without being an expert in the genre, like, the other players were all.
When episode 1 opens up with Dario like launching into what was almost a pre-recorded speech about Gundam, I knew it was going to be gold.
Yes.
That was pretty great. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed Dagashi. I really enjoyed the world building you had in it. And it shows that, like, yeah, you can have a really great, memorable story, a really memorable game without a lot of crunch. I mean, this isn't to say that crunch is antithetical to a good story, obviously, but like, Magical Fury is a very short game. Like it's not a very complex, even by Powered by the Apocalypse standards.
Mhm.
And just, yeah, in the right hands, a GM can do quite a bit of good work with it. So, yeah, Dagashi was definitely a highlight for me. And I'm looking forward because I know you want to do more work in that setting.
Yeah, I had to change away from Magical Fury. There's nothing wrong with Magical Fury, like as a system.
Mhm.
It's just like Magical Fury is a war of attrition that like you start out losing.
Mhm.
There's a point in episode 2 when everybody starts using their overdrives where I'm like, wow, I'm not sure the characters are going to survive 4 episodes, and I have 4 episodes planned.
Yeah, we really limped across the finish line in that one. That was, yeah, we were just barely hanging in there. And of course that makes the drama even better. But yeah, like a few other
Mhm.
dice rolls the wrong way, and it could have been a much shorter game, which would not have.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's true.
I didn't want anybody to die, but if that was like something that we had planned for, like we might have just ended with a huge body count at the end. Bigger than
it could've
initially
worked.
planned.
I mean, and it is adaptable because I did play in the Gen Con of you ran,
Mm-hmm.
where it was more queue system. And even that
Yes.
was really interesting because they're like, you had to make really on the fly choices about what you're going to use your powers for because you only had so many cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you could easily find yourself depleted by the end. And
Or
that
the
was
GM
really
holds
interesting.
on to both Jokers for the climactic scene, so she can be sure that she can kill all of you. At the end
That
of
has
the-
been known to happen. That has been known to happen.
Bridget. Aw.
Listen, I had like a royal flush in spades in my hand, and I had a Joker, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'll give you 1 card challenges," like going straight into the finale.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I knew I was going to end some lives.
Oh no. Well, that, by the way, that episode is available at the RPPR Patreon. And I'll put a link in the show notes. So if you haven't listened to it already, I highly recommend it. But yeah, of course, also you did really also great work, I think, with your Delta Green scenarios this year. And I was kind of initially when you said you wanted to run Delta Green, I was a little surprised. I had not, but you really took to the setting and the genre really well. That like, because Delta Green is cosmic horror without just name checking Lovecraftian stuff. It's about getting like what it means to be like, oh, I don't understand what's going on, and everything is horrible. And so I really appreciated that as well. What was there any sort of in your process? What led you to like, well, let's do some Delta Green?
Okay, well, there are 2 types of games that, at least for this last year, like patrons really wanted to see on the Patreon games. Everybody wanted to play Delta Green. Everybody wanted to play Red Markets. And I was like, all right, well, I like Delta Green. I like horror. And it's actually Shadowrun's fault. Because we played, what was it? Was it the spooky? No, it wasn't the Halloween special. It was after the Christmas. It was Trust. Okay, Trust Me. The episode Trust Me. You can find that on the RPPR actual play, where I tricked Ross into going to a completely non-verbal plan, knowing that he couldn't write anything down and he would attempt to write things down. And that was so funny to me that I was like, okay, what if I made a Delta Green game that sounded like it was going to be all about Carcosa, but like Carcosa was the red herring?
Yes. The counter Ross.
Yeah, that's where I started with that. But then I was like, I didn't really want horror to be a joke. I kind of wanted to like explore like the function of horror, which is to like make you confront things that are not great and then like think about like what that means to people. And this was just before I went to Gen Con, but like I was thinking about like how to take like lived experiences and then like make them into like an interesting discussion. Because like my favorite horror movie of all time is In the Mouth of Madness.
Nice.
And it's not for like the slimy things or like the metatextual like narrative plot. It's like it's the idea that narrative control is more important to reality than like quote unquote objective reality. Like if enough people believe something, it is true. And so I was like, oh well, shit, that's where I'm gonna go. So I made a camp for kids in the middle of Idaho, which is in real life not a great place for me. And just ran with it, and it was kind of cathartic, honestly, playing it.
And that's that. Yeah, I mean, Mouth of Madness is a excellent Lovecraftian horror film without like getting the ideas about it without just like throwing in Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth and all that. It's like, and that is very I can see the influence of that movie on the game now. Oh yeah, I can see that. So yeah,
I was really excited to play that game also because I had a piece of art commissioned for it. Like I had somebody draw the witch. She looks super cool. I think that's the image attached with the actual play.
It is. Yeah. With the deer skull.
Big fan.
It was quite fun. It's a very fun or cool image, I guess. It's not fun per se. I mean, not for the characters at least.
Hey, everybody made it out alive.
Yeah. But things will never be the same. At least the player characters did.
Yep. The patrons basically like beta tested that adventure, and it turned into a body count. Like I don't know, like 20 minutes in or something. When someone's like, "Oh, well, there's clearly something going on here," and they just like start like chain executing staff members. It got bloody.
Yeah, I can see that. So in terms of other games that you've played or run this year, were there any other, including ones that you weren't necessarily recording that have been on the podcast? Were there any other highlights that you want to talk about?
I played a game of The Quiet Year, which is, I don't think it's a part of the Belonging Outside Belonging system, or it might be. I don't remember.
It's kind of its own thing. We've done a game of it on RPPR, and it's really cool. But yeah, how did yours turn out?
I played a game with two very close people to me, and it went down in flames, but like in a good way. Like we started out with Quiet Year is a game basically about like exploring like what happens to a community when it's like in an extremely stressful situation, and ours ended up with like, well, like the conceit of the game is in winter at some point the frost shepherds are going to come and like the game will be over, and so the frost shepherds are either like an omen of doom or they are the doom, and our game ended with like when the frost shepherds showed up, like everybody was already dead and buried. Like there was like nothing there for the shepherds to find. It got real tense. And so that was like really, it's a really good game because like I feel like you get to explore like issues that are really important to you, but like you also get to learn a lot about your friends too. Like you can learn about like things that like people are scared of, but like in a fun, safe game environment way. And then also it's just good to look through the mechanics of how communities react and like how people approach problems as a group. It was really it was a tough game. I like everybody cried at the end. It's a good game.
Yeah. You can also kind of, it's almost, I wouldn't call it like a Rorschach text, but it's kind of along that it's a little like you can see what people's priorities are. Like, how would you imagine a utopian community? Like, what would be what's the most important thing that a community should have? What's the scariest thing to a community? You know what I mean? From what I remember, you know,
yeah.
Is education more important than food? You know, you know.
I played it with Faye, right?
Yeah.
And so the first player goes, and she's like, "All right, so our community has like an abundance of like safety or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, well, we also have like an abundance of like a physical resource, right?" And then it's like we get down to the resource that like Faye is going to propose, and she just like gets this like smug fucking grin and goes, peace of mind is one of our resources. And then I knew it was going to be a fucking ride.
Oh boy.
That was not that would not always be the case, was it? You would turn that into a deficit, as I'm guessing.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
the only thing we ended up with a surplus of was like metal, and then like we kept adding to deficits. Like those poor people.
Nice. Birk, were there any other games you tried out this year that you found particularly memorable?
Well, it's funny because I probably played about as many games this year as you two play in a month. So, like they kind of all just stand out just as sort of exploring what matters to me in terms of like making characters and interacting with people and telling stories. So I played a bunch of Gen Con games with Bridget, Red Market and Dagashi, Zyhander. But I think things that people have already talked about. Nothing as interesting as like Quiet Year as Blossom's Fall or anything. Honestly, it's just playing again has been great.
Yeah. No joke. Good games are some of the most fun you can have with a bunch of friends, and you're all keeping your clothes on. Hey.
Yeah, even just the monthly Patreon games can be super fun.
Yeah,
Wait, we were supposed to keep our clothes on after. Ah, damn it! I fucked it up. I think there's like we were talking about like getting back into the hobby, and like one of the things that like this year like really explained to me is like systems that are designed to be crunchy, like you don't need to play them as though they're just a hack and slash, because I feel like when the Shadowrun games get really good is like just mostly just character moments, like where people are trying to figure out what things are going on, or like how to do something or how to manage something. Like the whole museum art heist is probably my favorite job, because like there's very little actual like mechanical challenges going on. It's mostly like, how do we keep the party downstairs from getting out of hand? How do we keep the guards from getting out of hand? Like, how do we get in? How do we get out? It's like all this like planning, but not any of the actual like shooting and stuff. Kind of like it's like Payday in the planning stages and like nothing else. So that was really interesting, but also like discovering that there are games like specifically for this like type of role playing, like As Blossoms Fall is like nothing but character driven role playing.
Yeah.
The resolution mechanic is I had a deck of cards labeled like essentially 1 through 10, and if you drew a better number, you won. Like there's literally no mechanical there, but also like I feel like there's still a place for that kind of like hack and slash dungeon crawl, because like when you hang out with your friends, like you don't necessarily want to engage with like really important societal questions of like what should we do about this kind of thing, and more like you just want to slap around some orcs for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about like the great thing about role playing is like it's not just that you're fighting. Like that's the difference between a role playing game and a war game, really, or a skirmish game. Is like it's not about like how you fight and how you overcome tactical challenges. It's like why you're fighting and why that matters to you. Why you're willing to put your character's life on the line. It's like what are the stakes? Like why does this matter? Why does this matter? As opposed to how can we stop X amount of bad guys or whatever. And that's definitely, one thing, we should do at some point is, either I can run scum and villainy for you, or, like you're talking about planning heists. That was one of the highlights for me this year, was learning the Blades in the Dark system, Forged in the Dark, as I played a one shot of Blades in the Dark run by Jeff Barber, but I also, have been running Scum and Villainy, which is a sci-fi themed game, in using the same system, and like it really gets the planning. It's all about doing jobs or scores or heists, and it really streamlines the planning process to where it's in the action, and you can do sort of Schrodinger's Schrodinger's heist planning, where like your characters are exactly where they're everywhere until they can be theoretically anywhere, until you decide to, okay, they're here, and he planted a Claymore mine in this alley where I'm being chased. So he steps over that, and the bad guy gets blown up instead. Okay, well, spend this resource, and that happens, and so the players don't have to, spend hours in game planning things out. They just do things and say, "Oh yeah, I totally planned it that way."
Yeah, it does that heist movie thing where it was like, you didn't see this earlier in the planning phase because we had to keep it hidden from you for drama.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we secretly hired someone to sneak in through the window and set up all of these lines for us.
Mhm.
They would just be here when we needed them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that it's sort of perfect for a game, like for a setting like Shadowrun. So I would not be surprised if someone's already working on that, because Scum and Villainy, which is, space opera crime. So everything from a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Dune, a little bit of this and that, all mixed together. But for space crime, works really well. So that's definitely something we need to do next year. But anyways,
Definitely one I really want to play.
Yeah.
Isn't the Sprawl the
the Sprawl is
Cyberpunk
powered by the
version?
apocalypse, and that's
it's just powered by the apocalypse?
Yeah.
I thought it was Forged in the Dark. But,
no, it's powered by the apocalypse, and it's cyberpunk without magic. So it's all I think there's an add-on that adds magic to the Sprawl, but I'm not sure.
I had Ash McKellen played a couple games with her this last year, and that's essentially the game we were playing, was like Shadowrun, but with the Forged in the Dark style rules.
Okay.
That was pretty fun.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I should try out too. But yeah, I guess that's another thing about like 2018 is like, what are you looking now that you spent this year playing games, and delving into the tabletop community, like what games do you look forward to playing next year, I guess? Is anything coming out, or maybe it's already out, you just haven't had a chance to play it yet?
Yeah, so I think there's a few on either side of that.
Mhm.
So in terms of stuff that's out but is just starting to play, I have a couple sort of campaigns in the works. So I'm playing it. I'm not running any of them. Two are in kind of established canon, which is Star Trek and Star Wars, which is not usually what I'm into, but I think it's a good group and they'll be fun.
Mhm.
And then Warhammer. So moving beyond one shots into playing something more substantive. I'd like to get into like a longer campaign play.
Oh yeah, that can be really rewarding.
Yeah.
So
especially for something like, say, Red Markets, because I've always done Red Markets one shots.
Mhm.
And I think one shots sort of cheapen some of the choices you have to make in Red Markets because there's no consequences.
yeah,
Like you're just sort of in and done.
I take out a loan and get extra 10 points worth of gear, 10 pounds.
Yeah, and then you never see that character again, so it doesn't matter.
And then at the end of the job, I give all my wealth away to the orphans. And then I walk out and open my arms to be embraced by the undead.
Yeah, it's like a financial funnel adventure. I don't know.
I blow all the charges in my minigun to destroy this cool robot boss the GM had planned to be the finale scene to this, and now we cannot afford to shoot it ever again, but it doesn't matter because we won.
Yeah,
pretty much. So yeah, there is that. Definitely do a campaign next year. We might. I know Bridget and I have talked a little bit about like figuring out how to run a sort of campaign through the RPPR Patreon. So we'll work on that. That's just still really in the planning phases.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not sure how we're gonna do it, but we definitely want to run a campaign like for patrons.
Mhm.
Like it would be cool to be able to involve maybe not the same people every time, but maybe the same characters.
Yeah.
Like
On the
maybe
same
we have
plot.
6
Yeah.
characters in the same plot and stuff, and like your character just contributes to the meta narrative, or
Yeah.
or
don't
some
know.
sort
We're
of
gonna
like
figure it out.
shared world that everyone
Yeah.
plays in. Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of is one way we could do that is if if the setting in the meta plot was the same. So like, what if we ran Red Markets and all the one shot groups and stuff is like all like characters in the same
Mhm.
enclave?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's a massive project between people who run games all in the same enclave. Is that
10K
the
Lakes.
1,000 Lakes
10K
one?
Lakes.
10K Lakes, yeah.
So yeah, we could definitely do something like that. That's kind of the living RPG campaign, which has been done in the past in like D&D and a few other popular games. But yeah, we could. Yeah, it's something we're gonna have to puzzle out. So if you have comments about this, let us know. If there's a particular system you want us to use, Red Markets or something else.
Yeah, we want to enrich the patron games experience for all of you. So you're going to be the ones playing this. So please give us feedback on what you might like to see.
I mean, we could do Delta Green, like the idea being like it's not just it's a task force, so it's more than just one cell of 3 agents. So it's a task force of a bunch of agents that are brought in and out to do different operas, but Bridget and I and the other GMs would just plan some sort of meta narrative, so all these missions all connect to each other in some way. We just don't know. So that could be a thing. That sounds actually kind of fun. So yeah, we'll
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say something that'd be really cool is maybe do something in like Eclipse Phase Second Ed when it comes out. Is some
definitely
colony.
A colony on an exoplanet, or like a scum swarm that's traveling the solar system. Scum swarm would be a little fun because that way if you're on an exoplanet, you're kind of stuck there. But a scum swarm travels throughout the solar system, and they can still farcast to anywhere there, so you can bounce around. That's actually one of the games I definitely want to do for next year, is at least some one shots of Eclipse Phase Second Edition, because now the rules are out and character creation is way better, at least in terms of like ease for new players. It's not as good for people who knew the system really well and could min-max the shit out of their player characters and would spend hours to just get every possible opportunity and power.
Make a Fury that can make 9 attacks around and just decimate everything.
Yeah, that was nice. But I mean, I understand for the greater good to make more balanced player characters. So yeah, we're definitely going to do some Eclipse Phase Second Edition. Yeah, because having it more streamlined is also just better for getting new players into it, because that's sort of the biggest thing with getting people to play is just getting over that hurdle. Yeah, no joke. So I know for me, other games I'm looking forward to playing and running next year would be Warhammer 40k, Wrath and Glory. I definitely want to do some one shots of that, at least maybe a mini campaign of like 4 episodes or more. I also looking forward to the Yellow King RPG finally coming out. Because there's a lot of interesting settings for it. And then, of course, there's new Delta Green books coming out in the Impossible Landscapes up first, and in the Labyrinth, maybe. I don't know what the timeline is for that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm trying to think of what other games that I'm missing. There's so many games in so little time. Bridget, are there any other games that we haven't mentioned yet that you really?
Clearly I need to make everyone play Let These Mermaids Touch Your. Wait. No, hang on. I was gonna say I wanted to get dive face first into a bunch of Avery Adler games. So I wanted to play Monster Hearts for a long time, so we might play that. But definitely the game that just came out. I want to say it's last week, maybe a little bit more than that ago. Dream Askew just came out. Really excited to run some Dream Askew games. I'm probably going to do another mini campaign like we did for Dagashi. I don't quite know how many games. I don't remember if Dream Askew is supposed to be one shots or supposed to be played over multiple settings. So that's going to be fun. Really excited to play that. I kind of want to play Ribbon Drive because it was one of the it was one of the inspirations for my visual novel Cry, but also it's kind of along the same kind of thing where it's telling a story through the road trip genre. I think that's going to be really fun.
Interesting. Dream Askew is another post-apocalyptic community-based game about a queer community that trying to survive after the apocalypse.
It's from the Belonging Outside Belonging system, which is where you look at communities in the middle of strife. And so Dream Askew has some really interesting character creations. It's one of the few games that actually asks you to pick a gender for your character, but it gives you some options for your gender, and all of them are fucking amazing. One of them is just Gargoyle is a gender option. There's Raven. my absolute favorite is Dagger Daddy, which has such a huge impact on the community and the people I play with that like one of my friends like prefers to go by that as like a name now. It's really cute. So I'm
Nice.
really excited to just jump into that.
Sure.
It doesn't use a lot of like mechanical resolution as far as like dice or cards or anything like that. It's more like one of those like we were doing for As Blossoms Fall, where it's just purely narrative things. Like you get to add something to the narrative, and you either have to add something with a drawback or have a drawback enforced on your character.
Mhm.
And then by taking on these drawbacks, you get to make stronger moves, which is where like you just say something, like you just get to do something cool. You get to do something amazing with no drawbacks. So it's kind of like balancing your character's like flaws with what the noble ambition that your character has. So that's going to be interesting. And then everybody also plays elements of the community outside of your characters. So like you like play the other people in the settlement. You play the weather, I think, is one of the things that you can dictate. And people just shuffle those around, and it's essentially GMless. I say I'm going to run this for RPPR, but it's literally just cooperative storytelling.
Well, I mean,
Cool.
by run, you
Dive
mean
into
explain
that.
the rules to us.
Yeah, explain the rules and then like remind you if you forget something
Yeah.
is basically what I mean by run it.
Yeah.
That does sound cool.
Yeah, it does. Especially, yeah, I'm really interested in GM-less games. I do know that you mentioned Monster Hearts. I do know David has run a Monster Hearts game and he has recorded it. But this is David we're talking about. So from what he's told me, there are some dead teenagers in it because this is David. It's an RPPR game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happens, yeah.
It does, especially with David.
Can't be helped.
Apparently. So I don't know if we're going to post that or not. I'll talk to David. I do. Yeah, he did run another game that he definitely wants to post. Masks, the teenage superhero game. And so we're gonna have that. But yeah, I'm really interested in Dream Askew. It definitely sounds interesting. So we got some great games that we're gonna I'm gonna be looking forward to playing and running. And so yeah, 2018, at least in terms of tabletop games, was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to talk about anything else. We'll just focus on the games for right now. And
just on the games and nothing surrounding them. It was a good year.
Yeah.
Yep. It's weird to say that, but anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.